No, I did not go to a family vacation. I did not go to Bungie Studios, but I do have thoughts regarding the upcoming expansion known as Renegades. So we have a lot of creators coming out, putting out all of their information that they were able to cover regarding Renegades. Now that we have had the TWAB or TWID, and we've gotten all of the previews as far as the weapons, the abilities and everything, and now that we have all the news that they were going to give us before we get to play the new expansion this upcoming week, and I've gone through all of it on stream, we've talked about it all, I think it's finally time for me to make a video previewing my current expectations and feelings and thoughts on the upcoming expansion. Now, my biggest hope obviously is that the game comes out and it just blows expectations out the water. It brings, you know, waves and waves of players back because they are so intrigued with the game at this point. But unfortunately, I personally do not feel that is going to be the case moving forward. There's a big chance that Renegades comes out and the player numbers we normally have seen with expansions just doesn't hit those same marks. And if Star Wars can't do that, then there's not a lot that they can do with the Destiny 2 title still being displayed next to these expansions. Anyone that's played Destiny already knows that historically, you can tell, historically, there's plenty of areas of Destiny 2's core, and really Destiny 1's core as well, that pulls inspiration from Star Wars already. Looking at what might be the positives for me personally, I think the campaign has a very easy chance of being fairly good. If you look at the narrative around Edge of Fate, say what you want, but the narrative around Edge of Fate was really good. I have high hopes that this Renegade story is going to be on the same level. Hopefully it plays out a little bit better visually than Edge of Fate. But this is like the one area that I'm not too worried about, having a good 7 to 9 missions of just having a really good play session and enjoying what is being shown to me as a player. Now, on the opposite side of that, we are still in this like weird phase, this almost post final shape phase where we don't really know what's going on still. We don't know what the future has to hold. And obviously we are needing to build up a new like lore and pushing the game forward with all this new information regarding the 9. And I don't know what this Renegade story is going to be doing. We know it's canon. We know it's going to be needing to push the game forward. So this has me really interested in, okay, what story beats are going to like set the universe forward. This is the one area that I have high hopes for, and I'm pretty certain that they're going to nail. My next thing that I'm really worried, or I guess I want to say interested in, is just the gameplay. Personally, everything I've seen, with the exception of the Praxic Blade itself, pretty much everything I've seen, even down to the weapons, to the enemies you're facing, it just seems to be more Destiny. And that's not to say that more Destiny isn't a good thing. It's just, if you are a lapsed player in any amount, when you look at the gameplay, when you look at what we are going to be doing for 90% of the content, not including the dungeon, obviously, because they didn't show that, but everything you see just seems like, okay, so I know what I'm doing. You already can see that you are an expert in the gameplay, in the gunplay, in the how to approach the enemy factions. And I don't think this is a bad thing, but I am at the point personally where I do wish, I do hope, and I do desire for some kind of uniqueness and fresh take on enemy variants and how I need to engage with them. Whether it is a champion or Bane or just enemies that we're fighting, you look at the Cabal and their aesthetic in this expansion looks pretty dope. I know we are getting these Vex and these trench coats, cool, all unique, but the way we are engaging with the enemies, the way we are engaging with our weapons, it is all the same. And while that is nice for familiarity, I would really hope that sooner or later we have some sort of newness, new fresh take on how we have to just spend our time in the game. This is as someone coming in with almost, if not already, 20,000 hours in Destiny, including 1 and 2 on all platforms. I instantly look at all the gameplay and none of it personally excites me because I already am an expert at this gameplay. And I look at it, I'm like, all right, cool. That seems neat. that seems cool, but none of it's like, ooh, I can't wait to experience this because I don't already have thousands of hours experiencing this kind of, gunplay or combat or whatever. I will say some of these Star Wars inspired weapons look cool, but I also have played my fair amount of Star Wars games, and I see a lot of those guns, that gameplay in Star Wars, and I do think it's going to be decent, but I don't think personally that it's going to hold a candle to how like more Star Wars infused and Star Wars based games do those aesthetics, whether it be the heat like blaster thing, whether it be the crossbow or any of those things. And that's when we come to the thing that makes me easily the most excited, and that is that lightsaber, that Praxic Blade. Now that we've gotten gameplay of the Praxic Blade, and now that we kind of have gotten some hints regarding being able to like put different things on it, obviously we know now that you're gonna get the Praxic Blade throughout the story with the campaign, like exotic mission that you're gonna be doing. So we know at least it's not tied to the dungeon. From what I can tell, maybe one of the colors is tied to the dungeons. I know there's been a little bit of hinting or people thinking that the black shader of the Praxic Blade is tied to trials. I can absolutely believe that because people are going to go in trials whenever that thing comes out, because everybody wants to be their golf emo gamer. Praxic Blade is the one thing that feels incredibly fresh, even though it also feels very similar, if that makes sense. Having the ability to change your gameplay based off of the Praxic Blade, because you can like just deflect, and from all the gameplay I've seen, whether they were on a Titan or not, it seems pretty strong being able to deflect and send all of the energy blasts back to all of the enemies around and doing fairly decent damage. One of the recent episodes that I was on for the Destiny Digest, I talked about how, as someone who's played a lot of Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order and all those Star Wars games that have you having to spend a lot of time with lightsaber combat, I'm fairly experienced, but not like the best, but I have spent a lot of time using a lightsaber in video games, and I've kind of come to be accustomed to certain things happening. And once I saw personally them being able to toss a lightsaber and it just, spinning and going around, granted without the effects of them like being cut in half, I don't know why they couldn't do that. I thought it would have been really neat, but whatever. Seeing that was very satisfying. As far as the activity goes, I think the Lawless Frontier is really neat. However, it just feels like Gambit. It feels like we're just cycling back to Gambit based content. And unfortunately, that is something that I don't expect players to really engage with long term. Probably after about a month and a half, once everyone really knows how to participate or how to cheese it or how to maximize their time or how to optimize it, because everyone's going to come out with their guides on how to optimize being an invader or how to get the bounties. Once we have all that, I think the engagement levels with Lawless Frontier are going to not be as high as players would hope or like, or maybe the devs like. One positive note is that obviously Portal, I know people dislike Portal, but it seems that the whole Portal ops system is going to have a pretty decent amount of armor drops. I know we have Trials armor sets, Vanguard, we have Crucible, and I can't remember the last time we had a brand new Crucible armor set that wasn't refreshed. So having all of these armor sets is going to be really good. So that is something that I'm excited for. None of the armor sets really appeal to me outside of the PvP one, but it's something for people to chase, something for people to customize or look even more. So that is a win in my book. There also seems to be one thing that every single creator who was able to cover this early can't talk about, and it's something that is big. I personally don't have any expectations or any idea what that quote unquote big thing could be, but it must be something that makes them excited. But at this point, it's better to just wait it out a few days and then just play it Tuesday and find out for yourself. My current expectations as of this time, going into the holiday weekend and leading up into the expansion, my expectations is about a 7, a light 8 if you're going to include all of the ability tuning and the sandbox changes. A lot of really interesting things coming in regards to how we are going to just play. However, I have been playing this game for over a decade, and at this point I am more just going in with very low expectations and hoping for the best. Obviously, I'm excited for the new dungeon, but I know there's a very big chance we don't get out of the month of December with, you know, player sentiment being more than it's alright. And until proven otherwise, I think it's best to keep your expectations low and then be surprised when it comes out and becomes a banger. If you're excited for Renegades, let me know in the comment section. If you are not excited for Renegades or just don't plan on picking it up, I want to hear about that as well. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.